What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one of
Jacob's Nintendo History Lessons.
So this episode of Nintendo History is actually more centered on the origins of the PlayStation, but what many of you may not know is Nintendo actually had a direct impact on the creation of Sony's home console brand. It actually would not even have existed if Nintendo hadn't turned down a certain deal, but more about that later. So back in 1988, there was an ongoing partnership between Nintendo and Sony to create a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo. Many of you might be thinking, what? That's before the Super Nintendo ever released. Well, it was actually developed alongside the console and would debut later on. You see, at that time, consoles which incorporated discs instead of cartridges were still in its infant stages, so it took a considerable amount of time creating the hardware. So in 1991, Nintendo actually denied the existence of this so-called partnership with Sony, so Sony went ahead and showcased their Super Famicom add-on at the Consumer Electronics Show that year. Exactly one day after the announcement happened, Nintendo publicly announced that they would be breaking this deal. I guess they changed their mind about that not existing. And then they proceeded to go with Philips instead, which infuriated Sony. And they were even using the same exact technology on this add-on. Even the hardest of the die-hard Nintendo fans, get it? Hardest? Like, it's a penis joke? Okay, I'm done. Can admit that this was extremely disrespectful of Nintendo, and Sony had every single right to get upset with them. You see, the reason Nintendo broke off the deal was because the two companies could not come to an agreement on how they're going to be splitting the revenue of the project. So what did Sony do? Hold on, let me give you a second to think about it. Yes, that's right. They shot up the giant corporate middle finger to Nintendo, and the president of Sony, hold up, let me see if I get this right, Naroyoga. Did I do good? Okay. Anyway, they began the PlayStation project to rival Nintendo in their consoles. Nintendo ended up offering them a non-gaming role in regards to their recent partnership with Philips. This doesn't exactly sound like the friends making up by the cozy fire now, does it? Sony very quickly rejected this offer to send a message, and honestly, I don't blame them one bit. Now, legally, the negotiations between the two companies ended in 1992 and the PlayStation was already swiftly underway. It actually did come to a halt at one point, but Ken Kutaragi, the lead designer of the PlayStation, simply reminded the company of the sheer humiliation Nintendo brought upon them, and the project was quickly back on its legs. Now, 2 years later, the PlayStation 1 was officially launched and it went on to become the best-selling console at that time. Now, I know I might have sounded a bit harsh on Nintendo during this video, but that's what happened. It wasn't really a fairy tale land back in the 90s with the video game industry between corporations. We've already covered this. I'm also a big fan of the PlayStation brand as well, but never fear, Nintendo will always stay my favorite. More than likely. So what'd you guys think of this video? Comment below and let me know. I always look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And like always, guys, if you enjoyed what you saw here and you want to see something else I did, just wait a few seconds and you'll get a link to see some more. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.